the weight of defeat. Before he became the legend who saved Britain, Winston Churchill was considered a failure, dismissed, humiliated, even ridiculed by his own government. Yet from the ruins of rejection, he forged the courage that would one day define history. Winston Churchill said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." The quote's origin. The quote, often attributed to Churchill during the darkest days of World War II, captures the spirit of endurance that guided Britain through despair. Whether spoken in Parliament or to soldiers, its message endures. Success and failure are fleeting, only courage remains. The downfall before glory. Before 1940, Churchill's career was nearly over. The Gallipoli disaster of 1915 branded him reckless. He was exiled from power for years, a man whose ambitions had burned him. But when the world needed courage, that same fire returned. The meaning: courage beyond victory. Churchill understood what few leaders do, that triumph and failure are both temporary illusions. What mattered was the ability to rise again, even when nothing promised success. It's not optimism, it's defiance. The lesson: our battles today. In our own lives, victories fade, failures sting, but courage is timeless. Churchill's message isn't about winning wars. It's about surviving yourself every day when quitting feels easier. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Subscribe for more stories of flawed genius. Dark Prelude. There are words that echo louder than bombs, words that outlast empires. In October 1941, a tired old man stood before a group of boys in a small British school. His country was burning, his people starving, his armies retreating. And yet, he said only 7 words that would change the war. Winston Churchill said, "Never give in, never, 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 never. Great or small, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense." The quote's origin. He wasn't standing in Parliament. He wasn't commanding troops. He was speaking at Harrow School to children who might not live to graduate. The weight behind the words. Britain was alone. France had fallen. America hadn't yet entered the war. Every strategist told him surrender was logical. But logic never wins, war spirit does. Churchill's message wasn't about optimism. It was about defiance, about standing when every sane person would kneel. Psychological insight. Churchill understood something rare. Courage is not born in victory, it's born in exhaustion. When the mind whispers, "Give up," and the soul whispers back, "Try once more." That is what keeps civilizations alive. 80 years later, the world hasn't changed that much. We still fight invisible wars with doubt, fear, anxiety. And the same words apply: never give in, not to pressure, not to noise, not to despair. Give in only to what is right, to what is wise. Climax plus reflection. Maybe Churchill wasn't talking to a nation. Maybe he was talking to every soul that's ever stood at the edge of quitting. Because history isn't written by the strongest. It's written by those who refuse to stop. Never give in. Never, 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 never. Great or small, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. If this quote found you at the edge of giving up, it means it was meant to. Subscribe for more words that shape the fire within humanity. Cinematic Prelude. In the middle of a war, when the world was rationing food, fuel, and hope, ... Winston Churchill spoke about something that couldn't be rationed: generosity. Winston Churchill say, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." The quote's origin: he said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." It sounds simple, but it came from a man who watched the price of greed, power, and selfishness nearly destroy the world. The deeper meaning: this wasn't about charity. Churchill wasn't preaching kindness, he was defining purpose. A living is survival. A life is significance. You can build empires and still die empty. Or you can give something, an idea, a kindness, a word that outlives you. The war behind the words. In 1940, Britain was nearly broke. Yet people gave their homes to refugees, their jewelry for war bonds, their sons to the front lines. Churchill saw it. Survival didn't come from what Britain had, but from what it gave. Timeless reflection. 80 years later, we live in abundance, yet emptier than ever. We chase income, not impact. We trade time for things instead of meaning. But Churchill's words whisper across the decades. A rich life isn't measured in what we keep, but what we leave behind. Climax plus philosophical close. The great paradox of life: the more you give, the more alive you become. Your work earns a living. Your giving earns your soul. Maybe Churchill's greatest battle wasn't with Hitler. It was with the human heart. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. The question is ... what will you give before time runs out? We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. The question is ... what will you give before time runs out? Give, live, remember.